Hi everyone, it's your favorite CAD addict, Best of Delta. Moving forward, today we are going to be looking at exercise 16. Alright, I can guarantee you one thing: this is not going to be easy, but at the end your reward is going to be joy of craftsmanship. Alright, this is going to take pretty much of our time, but at the end we should be able to do it. So before I delve into the business of today, if you are new here, thank you for joining us. I would advise you go back and watch my previous videos so I'll be able to follow suit in what we are doing here. And for the old timers, thank you for hanging around. I really appreciate that. So quickly, in our previous video we looked at exercise 15, and as you can see, we're making progress. So moving forward, today we'll be looking at exercise 16. Alright, I know this drawing is kind of scary, but I believe at the end of today's video we'll be able to draw this, and I will advise you to exercise patience and follow suit with my instructions, so at the end you will enjoy the reward I call joy of craftsmanship. Alright, so quickly let's go down to CAD. I believe you already know the drill. Okay, so we'll go straight up to start creating layers. So I'll go to the layers ribbon. Alright, I believe by now you already know how to do that, so I wouldn't spend much time explaining how to go about creating layers. Okay, so let's do that quickly. Alright, click on new, then create the first layer is going to be called construct one layer. Click enter, and the color will be cyan as usual. We use cyan for our construction layer, and click OK. Then we'll create another separate layer called dimension one layer. This is going to serve as our dimension layer, and the color of our dimension layer is going to be blue. Alright, so you click blue, then you click OK. Alright, I guess that's what we'll be needing. That's all the construction layers will be needing for this class. Alright, so we'll go straight up to close the layers property dialog box. So next up, we'll go and make our construct one layer our current layer by going to the layers ribbon, click on drop down of the layers ribbon, then we click on construct one layer, making it our current layer now. So go down to draw ribbon, click on drop down of the draw ribbon, then click on construction line where my cursor is right now. Click on it. Alright, so we'll start off from the origin, so type in 0,0 and press enter on the keyboard. Then we can zoom in so that our drawing will be centralized. Alright, so as you see, when I take the cursor to the horizontal, it locks at 0 degrees to the horizontal. I take it to the vertical, it locks at 90 degrees to the vertical. That is because I have the object snap and polar tracking turned on. Alright, so you might also want to do that, turn it on in your CAD environment. Have the grid turned on here where my cursor is right at the bottom right of my screen. Alright, where my cursor is right now, that is the grid there. We have it turned on. We have the polar tracking turned on. Alright, we also have the object snap turned on. So I will advise you leave this object, just follow exactly what I'm doing here so that you don't have difficulties following my instructions. Alright, so let's create horizontal and vertical construction lines. Alright, so quickly take it to the vertical at 90s, left click on the mouse. Take it horizontal at 0 degrees, left click on the mouse. That should do. Then press escape key on the keyboard to exit the command. Next, we'll get rid of this UCS icon that's getting in the way of our drawing. You click on it to highlight it, then you right click, a dialog box comes up. Then you go straight down to the last option have here, which is UCS icon settings. You click on it, then you deselect show UCS icon at origin. Once you've done that, we're good to go. Alright, so we'll go back to our PDF document to get the measurements. Right, so back to PDF document. Alright, so I want us to start off from this point where my cursor is right now. We're going to start off from this point. This is just like an opening. All right, so we are starting from this point, and if you take a good look at this, you'll find out that we have curves here of radius 7.5 millimeters and 4.4 millimeters respectively. All right, so we're going to start off from this point using our construction line. All right, so we're going to start offsetting at some certain distances to achieve these openings. All right, so let's do that. Here we have curves here at 7.5 and 4 millimeters respectively, up and beneath. All right, so the distance and their distance apart is 12.5 millimeters. All right, so let's make progress. Let's try and do this in CAD. All right, so back to CAD. So now we're going to offset these horizontal construction lines just like we have seen in our PDF document. The distance between these curves are 12.5 millimeters apart, so we are going to offset this horizontal construction line at a distance of 12.5. right, so let's do that. Go to the modifier ribbon, click on offset. You can easily type offset in the keyboard, just type it in. All right, or you can take your cursor to where you have offset in the modify ribbon. You click on offset, then you type in the offset distance, which is 12.5. all right, 12.5. then you press enter on the keyboard, then you go straight to the line you want to offset, click on it. Okay, we're offsetting upwards. all right, so you use your cursor to indicate the direction you want the line to be. So we're offsetting upwards, so I'll take my cursor upwards, then I'll left click on the mouse. Alright, so that is, as you can see, the line is still very small, so I'll press escape key to exit the offset command. Then I'm going to zoom out so that you see what we are doing, if the offset actually worked. Alright, so I'll press escape, now I'll zoom out, then I'll pan. Alright, zoom out then pan to centralize our drawing. Zoom out and I'll pan. So how am I doing this? You use the roller part of your mouse. You can roll it upwards to zoom out, or you roll it downwards, all right, to zoom in. All right, so for now we are zooming out, so I'm rolling it upwards. Then I'll pan. I'll go to the right panel here on the AutoCAD environment, then click on where this cursor, where my cursor is right now, click on it. That is the pan tool. All right, so how do you pan? You left click on the mouse, then you drag to whatever direction you want. All right, so let's do that. So I'll see pan. So until I'm okay with the distance we have here, I will stop zooming out, then I will press escape to exit the pan command. All right, so I believe I'm okay with this distance, so we'll start off by putting in the curves. All right, so how do we do that? So follow me. All right, so we'll go back to our main layer, go to the drop down of the layers ribbon, click on 0 layer to make it our current layer, which is our main layer. Then you go straight to the draw ribbon, click on cycle. All right, so you click on cycle. All right, so this this point of intersection of these construction lines are going to be serving as a point, as the center point of our curves. All right, so just like we've seen from our PDF document, the measurement of these curves are of radius 4 millimeters and 7.5 millimeters. So we are going to draw that in right now. All right, so ensure your cursor locks to the center point of the point of intersection of this construction line. Lock it in, then you left click, then type in the radius you want, 7.5. press enter on the keyboard. You press the space bar on the keyboard to re-enter the previous command. Lock the cursor to the center of this cycle, type in the radius 4 millimeters. That's what we need. We'll do same at the top. Press enter, press the space bar on the keyboard, re-enter the previous command. Lock your cursor to the point of intersection of these construction lines. Left click, then type in the radius 7.5. Press enter. Do same again. Press the space bar to re-enter previous command. Lock your cursor to the center of the cycle. Type in the radius 4 millimeters. That's all we need. Next up, we are going to use tangent lines. All right, you use tangent lines to join these circles together. We'll join the bigger circles together using tangent line. Also join the smaller circles together using tangent line. At the end, we'll just follow me. At the end, you'll know what we are trying to do. Alright, so I'll go to the bottom right of the screen, click on object snap, click on the drop down of the object snap tool. Alright, so I will select tangents. Alright, that's what we want to make use of tangents. So I will select tangents. I will deselect some of these other options, because if I have too many options selected at the same time, it disturbs the actual option we want to use. So the only option I'm going to leave selected right now is the tangent, because that's what we need to use for now. Alright, so having done that, I'll go to the drawing board, click on line 2, click line 2. Alright, that will locate the tangent point on this bigger cycle, on the upper bigger cycle. Click on it by left clicking on the mouse, locate the tangent point on the down upper cycle, click on it as well. Alright, so we'll do same on the left hand side as well. Press the space bar on the keyboard to re-enter the previous command, locate the tangent point, left click on the mouse, do same at the bottom, left click on the mouse. Alright, so press space bar to re-enter the previous command, do same for the smaller cycles, both on the left and the right hand sides of these cycles. Alright, so do same here, locate the tangent point here as well, left click on the mouse. So that's what we need. So next up, we are going to start trimming off this line so that it will look like what we have in our PDF document. So you can easily type in trim, or you go to the modify ribbon, or you click and you click on the trim command, click on it, then you press enter on the keyboard to select every object in the model space. Alright, having done that, you start clicking on the lines you don't need. Okay, so we don't need this line, I'm going to click on it. We don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this as well. So I'll just be clicking on the lines we don't need. Alright, so to get rid of them, so I'll just be clicking on it. This is what the trim command does. Okay, I'll click on this as well, click on this. Alright, as you can see, if you can see very well, you see that we have some little lines there that's making our job look really bad. So we have to get rid of these smaller lines. Okay, so you zoom out using the roller part of your mouse, then you click on the lines. Okay, we don't need this here as well, we don't need this. Alright, sorry, we don't need this. I'll click on it to select it. We don't need this as well, I'll click on it, then press delete on the keyboard to get rid of it. Do same on the other side, the left hand side of the drawing as well. Click on the lines you don't need, then press delete on the keyboard, then you can zoom back in. Alright, so this is now looking like exactly what we have in our PDF document. So we've done that. So I'll pan a little, I'll pan so that we'll have room for to draw in other parts of this design. Alright, so I'll press escape key, go back to the PDF document to get other measurements. Alright, so let's do that. So back to our PDF document. Alright, so the next we are going to draw in now is this. So how do we do that? Alright, so using taking a look at this curve here where my cursor is right now, take a good look at it. You'll find out that hello, so you take a look at it, you know that the radius of the measurement of this arc is 7.5 millimeter radius for this bigger arc, and we'll take a look at this design we have here. Alright, in form of a cycle. Alright, so the measurement of this cycle we have here is still of diameter 7.5. Alright, so and the distance between this opening here and this cycle is 55 millimeters. So we are going to offset the vertical construction line at a distance of 55 millimeters. Then we'll also offset upwards, start from the center of this curve where my cursor is right now. We'll offset at a distance of yes, 7.5 millimeters. No, 7.5 plus 7.5, that's 15 millimeters. So we offset at a distance of 15 millimeters to locate the distance. So the point of intersection of the vertical construction line and the horizontal construction are going to be offsetting will serve as the point, the center point of this cycle right here. Alright, so let's do that. Let's get to practice so that you understand what I'm trying to explain here. I just hope you're following what I'm doing. Alright, so back to CAD. Alright, so we are going to offset this vertical construction line. Yes, we are offsetting it at a distance of 55 millimeters. Alright, so let's do that. Go to modify ribbon, click on offset, type in the offset distance, which is 55. Press enter on the keyboard, then click on the line you want to offset, which is this 55 millimeters. That's our line right there. So we offset this horizontal line here. We are going to offset this horizontal line at a distance of 15 millimeters. So type go to my file and click on offset, type in the offset distance 15 millimeters, press enter on the keyboard. You click on the horizontal construction line you want to offset. You're offsetting upwards. Once after clicking on it, I'll take my cursor to the upwards direction to give direction to CAD. Alright, so that is the point you need. So this point of intersection, the point of intersection of this construction line is going to serve as the center of the cycle you just saw in our PDF document. Alright, so and the yes, the measurement of that cycle is 7.5 millimeter radius. So I'll go to the draw. Yes, I'll go to the draw ribbon, click on cycle 2. Then I'll lock my cursor to the point of intersection of these construction lines. As you can see, it's not locking there. That's because we have deselected some of the options in object snap. So I'll go back to the bottom right of the screen to select back these options. Right, click on draw diamond of the object snap, then click ensure the endpoint midpoint center and the intersection is selected. Alright, so we don't need I'll just leave the tangent on for now. Right, so I'll lock my cursor to this point of intersection. Now there we go, that's what we are looking for. It locks to that point. Alright, so that's what the object snap to does. So I'll lock my cursor to this point, left click on the mouse, type in the radius, which is 7.5 millimeters. I'll press enter on the keyboard. So that's what we need for now. So we are done with this part of the drawing. Okay, so we are going to focus on this. As you can see from the PDF document, we have so much work to do there, so we are going to be focusing on this cycle. All right, so let's try to do that. So let's go back to our PDF document to get further measurements of the on this cycle. All right, so let's do that. Back to PDF document. All right, so here all right, so how do we do this? What do we do here? Okay, to get these curves and these openings right here. So this is what we are going to do. We are going to get construction lines inclined at 60 degrees. Yeah, I think 60 degrees to the horizontal, so that we'll be able to get the smaller cycles. That you see this other part of the drawing, that is to give us a better view of the dimensions, whatever that is going on there. All right, so here the curve here, as where my cursor is right now, is of radius 4.6 millimeters. But before we do that, before we talk about the curve, we need to take a look at this here. How do we get this vertical line here protruding out of the cycle? How do we get that? All right, so let's try to consider this part first. Okay, getting this protruding, this extension line, this line that is extending out of the cycle. All right, so how do we do that? What do we do to get, all right, to get these extension lines and these smaller cycles? All right, so the radius of this smaller cycle is of 0.5 millimeters, while this smaller cycle inscribed in the larger cycle at the very center is of radius 1 millimeters. Okay, all right, so let's try to draw in these smaller cycles first, then at the end we can think of we can start considering these curves. Yeah, these curves and those extension lines. All right, so let's back to CAD. All right, so like I said, we'll go back to our construction layer. Then we are going to get construction lines inclined at 60 degrees. Yes, 60 degrees. All right, so straight to our draw ribbon, click on draw diamond of the draw ribbon, click on construction line. All right, so type in A for angular. The angle we need is 60 degrees. Now type in the angle we need 60 degrees, press enter on the keyboard. That's the angle we need. Then we'll lock our cursor to the point of intersection or to the center of this cycle. That is exactly where we need it. All right, so we'll press space bar on the keyboard to re-enter the previous command. We'll type A for angular, and type in -60. We will need it in the reverse direction, so type in -60 degrees. All right, press enter, lock the cursor to the center of the cycle. So that's what we need. All right, so that's what we need. So next up, we are going to join those smaller cycles. I hope you've seen what I'm doing. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I have a better view of what we are doing. All right, so I'll pan to centralize. So we are going to start drawing in those smaller cycles. So we'll go back to our our main layer, click on it, which is the 0 layer. Then we'll go to drawing and click on cycle, then lock our cursor to the center of this bigger cycle, so it locks to that center. Then we'll type in the radius, which is 1 millimeters. That's what we need. All right, so so next up, we are going to we are going to offset this vertical construction line at a distance of 2 millimeters. All right, on both sides, to get the smaller cycles of radius 0.5 millimeters. So go to modifier and click on offset, type in the offset distance, which is 2 millimeters. Type in which is 2, press enter on the keyboard. We're offsetting this vertical line on both sides to the click on it, to the left and also to the right. So that's it. So the point of intersection, I'll still zoom out so I get a better view. Now this point of intersection, I'll press escape key to exit the command. So this point of intersection here is going to serve as the center for our smaller cycle on the right hand side. This point of intersection will serve as the center of the smaller cycle on the left hand side. All right, so let's join those smaller cycles of radius 0.5 millimeters. Go to the drawing board, click on cycle. All right, lock your cursor to this point of intersection, type in the radius 0.5, press enter on the keyboard. Do same on the right hand side, lock your cursor to this point, type in the radius 0.5 millimeters. That's what we need. All right, so so we see how we have about 6 smaller cycles surrounding this smaller cycle at the center. So how do we get the center point for the smaller cycles? What do we do next to get the center point for these smaller cycles? All right, so in order to do this, we are going to draw a tangent line touching this cycle where my cursor is right now. We are going to draw a tangent lines, all right, touching this cycle at one point. So whatever point it touches this construction lines inclined at angle 60 degrees will be the center point for those cycle. All right, so I'm going to delete all these ones because we are done with them. They have served their purpose. I'll click on them to select and I'll press delete on the keyboard. So next up, we'll go to construction layer, which is construct 1. Then go to drawing and click on construction line. Then what we need is to locate tangent point on this center cycle, this cycle that's inscribed in the bigger cycle. All right, so to do that, we have to go back to object snap at the bottom right of the screen, click on it, then select the tangent option, then deselect some other options so I don't have difficulties locating the tangent point on the cycle. All right, so having done that, you come to this end, to the right of the cycle, locate the tangent point there, click on it, ensure it is at 90 degrees to the vertical. Then press escape key, press the space bar to re-enter the previous command. Do same on the left of the cycle as well. All right, I hope you see what I'm doing. So you do same, left click on the mouse, ensure it's at 90 degrees to the vertical, left click on the mouse. All right, so this point of intersection right here where my cursor is right now is going to be the center point for the other smaller cycles. All right, it will serve as the center point for the other smaller cycles. So let's draw in those cycles. I'll go back first. we'll have to go back to object snap to select back the intersection option, so I don't have difficulty locating those points of intersection. After you selected that, then you go back to our main layer, go to layers ribbon, click on drop down menu of the layers ribbon, and click on the 0 layer, which is our main layer. Then go to the draw ribbon, click on cycle. Alright, click on cycle, then lock your cursor to the point of intersection. Alright, this then type in the radius, which is 0.5, press enter. Do same for other points of intersection, do same 0.5, press enter. Alright, we'll do same at the bottom, 0.5, press the spacebar to enter the previous command, lock it to the point of intersection, left click, then type in the radius 0.5. Now you might want to ask, why are we not using the array tool? Now if you use the array tool, you will not be able to trim out some part of the cycle, because whatever change we are going to make to any of the cycle will affect the rest of the cycle. So that's why we are not using the array tool. Alright, I know you might be tempted, why are we stressing ourselves drawing in these cycles one after the other instead of just simply using the array tool? So I've given you the reason for that, so don't be tempted. Just follow my instructions and you won't be frustrated while trying to do this. Alright, so we have succeeded in putting in the smaller cycles. So next up, we want to draw in those extension lines. Alright, so let's do that. Back to let's get some dimensions from our PDF document. So I'll go back to our PDF document, go back. Alright, so what you want to do now is this extension line here and this one here. So how do we do that? You take a good look at it. If you take a good look at it, you see that it started off from the it started off from tangent point cutting across the smaller cycles, the 0.5 millimeter radius cycles. Alright, so it started off from a tangent line, alright, cutting across the smaller cycles, that is a 0.5 millimeter radius cycles. So we are going to do that. Right, it cut across the center, so we are going to do that now. So let's go back to CAD. Right, so back to CAD. Alright, so what I'm talking of now here, we are going to get, yes, we are going to get a tangent line, a construction line that is going to touch this smaller cycle at one point, touch this other cycle at one point. Then starting off from there, we can produce the extension line. Alright, so let's do that. Go back to the construction layer, go to draw ribbon, click on construction line. Alright, click on construction line, click on it. What the fuck is wrong with this mouse? Alright, so go back to draw ribbon, click on draw down of draw, click on construction line. Alright, so next up, what we need is tangents. Alright, so we'll go back to our just now, select only the tangent option. Right, so back, we'll click on this, the tangent here, click on it, do same on this cycle, click on the tangent point on this cycle. Alright, so that is what we need. Alright, that's what we need. Hope we're doing the right thing. Just hope we're doing the right thing. On a second thought, we can, alright, on a second thought, let's get rid of this line we just drew in. On a second thought, we can decide to offset, yes, we can decide to offset this 60-degree construction line at a distance of 0.5 millimeters. Alright, I think that will give us a more accurate line. Alright, so let's do that. Go to my file and click on offset, type in the offset distance, which is 0.5, press enter on the keyboard. Alright, so you click on this line, this is the line I want to offset, click on it. Now that is better, that is better. Alright, so that is better. So next up, back to our PDF document to get further measurements. How far is it from the center? Alright, that line we want to put, how far is it from this cycle, the extension, how far is it, and what is the size of the width of this extension line we are going to protrude out of the cycle. So that's what we want to find out now. So back to our PDF document. Alright, so from this measurement right here, alright, so from the measurement right here, yeah, right from the smaller cycle of radius 0.5 millimeters to the yes, to the very end, to the end point of this line is 8 millimeters. Alright, so it's far off from the smaller circle at a distance of 8 millimeters, and the width of this extension line is 1 millimeters. Alright, so 1 millimeters, so 1 millimeters and wide, and 8 millimeters in length. Alright, so let's do that. Back to CAD. So we're going to still offset this construction line, the one my cursor is on right now. We're offsetting it at a distance of 1 millimeter to get the width of our to get the width of our extension line. So let's do that. Offset 1 millimeter, type in, then press enter, then we'll set at 1 millimeter, click on it. Yes, so that is it, that's what we want. So now to get the length of this extension line, that's what we're going to do. Now to get the length, we are going to get before I do that, we are going to get another construction line, and it's going to touch each of these smaller cycles at some point. Then we can easily offset it at a distance of 8 millimeters to get the entire width of our extension line. Alright, so I hope you understand what I'm doing here. So let's do that. Go to draw down menu of the draw ribbon, click on construction line. Then we'll click on this cycle at one point, do same on this other hand. That's what I want. So we'll do same at the bottom. Alright, we'll do same at the bottom. Press space bar on the keyboard to re-enter the previous command. Alright, so locate the tangent point on this smaller cycle, click on it, do same on this end. Alright, do same on this end. That's it, click on it. So that's what we need. So next up, we'll offset this at a distance of 8 millimeters to the bottom. Offset this other construction line, this one where my cursor is right now, to the top at a distance of 8 millimeters. Now that will give us the entire length of the extension line, the line that's protruding out of the cycle. Alright, so let's do that. Offset, click on offset, go to the modifier button, click on offset. Alright, so click on offset, then type in the distance 8 millimeters, press enter on the keyboard. Then start offsetting. We'll start off from the one we're offsetting to the top. Right, so click on it, offset. That's it. We'll do same at the bottom, click on it, offset to the bottom. So that's what we need. So next up, we can use our main line. As you can see, this is kind of getting a little bit confusing. We have too many construction lines now. So after drawing in this extension, I'm going to start deleting off some of these construction lines so I don't get confused. Alright, so we'll go back to our main layer, go to drop down menu of the layer ribbon, click on the 0 layer, which is our main layer. Then go back to drawing, click line 2, click the line 2. Alright, so we can comfortably draw in our extension line starting up from this point. Alright, before I do that, let me go back to kind of getting all this model up together. So I'll go back to the PDF document to take a look at the drawing again. Okay, it's starting off from this point. Okay, so let's start off from that point as well. Starting off from this point here, it doesn't go all through the way to the cycle. Alright, so we're gonna start off from the edge of this cycle. Alright, so starting off from this point. So we might want to go back and turn back on the intersection option and the object snap too. Alright, click on intersection, click on endpoint as well. Alright, so let's do that. So lock your cursor to this point of intersection. That's where our extension line is starting off from, so I will click on that, then take the line all through to this point of intersection as well, take it down to this point, do same here, come back to the curve of the cycle. Alright, having done that, we'll do same on the other hand. Press the space bar on the keyboard to enter the previous command. We'll do same at the bottom. Alright, lock your cursor to this point of intersection, extend it, take it down all through to this point, and join it up to forming a rectangular shape of the curve of the cycle. Alright, so now we've drawn in that. So next up, I'm going to start deleting off some of these construction lines. Alright, now click on them. You've served your purpose. I'll click on this. You've served your purpose, and I'll press delete on the keyboard. This as well, and this. Alright, press delete on the keyboard. That's it. Okay, I'm going to delete these ones as well. Off you go. Click on it, click on this. Alright, click on this, press delete on the keyboard. Okay, yes, we're done with this. I'll click on it and press delete on the keyboard. Off you go. This as well, click on it, delete on the keyboard. So we've started, yes, we've drawn in that extension line. So next up, let's go to back to our PDF documents. Alright, so how do we draw in these? Alright, this openings here, this opening, and the width here is still 1 millimeters as well. Still 1 millimeters. Alright, so these openings are drilled from tangent lines. Alright, cutting off from the smaller cycles. Alright, smaller cycles of radius 0.5 millimeters. So we're going to look for a way to draw in those tangent lines and their distance. Alright, the width is 1 millimeters and the length is 8 millimeters, just like this extension line we just finished drawing in now. So let's do that. Back to CAD. Alright, so how do we do this? So we are going to here, this construction line where my cursor is right now. Okay, we are going to offset it to both ends at a distance of 5 millimeters. We'll do same for this, offset this at a distance of 5 millimeters to both ends. So let's do that. Let's start off with one of the cycles first. Alright, so go to offset, go to modify run, click on offset. Click on offset. Yes, click on offset and type in the offset distance 0.5, press enter on the keyboard. Alright, so click on that on both ends. Alright, okay, so next up we want to locate. Yes, the next thing we are going to do now is to locate or to get the entire length of this opening. So how do we do that? We are going to draw a tangent line. Alright, yes, we'll draw a tangent line that will touch this smaller cycle at one point and touch this other cycle at one point. Alright, so let's do that. Back to yes, press the escape key on the keyboard to exit that command. Alright, then we'll go to our construction layer, then go back to the draw ribbon, click on the drop down menu of the draw ribbon, click on construction line where my cursor is right now, then type yes, just click, then we'll go back to the cycles. Now we want to locate the tangent points on these cycles, so I'll locate, take my cursor close to the cycle to locate the tangent point. Then I'll click on it. Now locate the tangent point on this other cycle, on the second cycle, which is this. I'll click on it. So that's it. So next up we'll offset this. We'll offset this at a distance of 8 millimeters. So go to the modifier and click on offset. You type in 8 millimeters, press enter, then we'll click on the line we want to offset. This we are offsetting it to the downwards. So we'll click on it, then take our cursor downwards. That's it. So next up we'll draw in the tangent lines that will meet up at these points of intersections. Alright, so let's do that. So go to the drawing board, click line 2, click the line 2, then locate the tangent point on this cycle. Yes, the tangent point on this cycle. Right, mind you, is tangent point, but what you are seeing right now is the intersection points. Alright, so but that's not what we need. So we need the tangent point, not the intersection point. So I'll go back to the object snap tool at the bottom right of the screen, click on drop down menu, deselect the intersection tool. Alright, I'll deselect it for now. We're still going to need it because we need it at this point, so I'll deselect it then just to locate the tangent just to locate the tangent point for now. Then later on we can turn back on. Right, so I'll click on this. Yes, I'll click on this, click on tangent point here. As you can see, we are still on the wrong layer. So I'm going to press escape to exit this. Now we'll go back to our main layer, which is our 0 layer, then click the line 2, then back to where we stopped. Alright, so locate the tangent point here on this cycle, click on it. Then without exiting this command, I will go down to the object snap tool, click on the drop down menu, select back intersection, just like that. Then you click it back on, then we can locate, yes, the tangent point, this tangent point here, this point of intersection, sorry. Then we'll click on this other point of intersection, then join it back to this point, which is our tangent point on the cycle. Click on it. So that's what we need. Right there. So we'll do same for this cycle here. So having done that, we are going to get rid of this construction lines. We'll get rid of this. It has served its purpose. Alright, so click on them to get rid of them, click on it to select them, click on them, then you press delete on the keyboard. That's it. So we've gotten that. So we'll do same for this point here. So we are going to offset this horizontal construction line as usual at a distance of 0.5 millimeters. So let's do that immediately. Go to the modify ribbon, click on offset command, then type in this offset distance 0.5, then click on the line we're offsetting to both ends of this so both ends of this horizontal construction line, to the up and the down beneath the construction line at 0.5 millimeters respectively. So next up we'll try to alright, we'll press the escape key to exit the offset command. So next up we try to we'll draw in, we are going to draw in here, we are going to draw in a tangent line that will touch the smaller circle at one point. Do same here, touch the smaller circle at one point as well. Then we'll offset it at a distance of 8 millimeters to get the entire length of that opening. Alright, so let's do that. Go to our construction layer, click on construct 1, go to the drop down the draw ribbon, click on draw down of the draw ribbon, click on construction line, then click on the tangent point here. What we need here is the tangent point of the cycle. Okay, see same that problem. Okay, back to object snap. Let's turn off that intersection, click on it to deselect it, then go back to our drawing. Okay, the point of intersection. Now that is easy. Click on it, click on this as well, this point of intersection right there. So that's what we want. That didn't go well, so we'll have to do that again. Let's delete it, try that again. Okay, yes, let's do this. Go back to draw ribbon, click on draw diamond of the draw ribbon, click on construction line. Okay, now let's try to locate it directly on this cycle of cycle of interest. Okay, let's click on the tangent point here. Okay, now that's what we need. This is better, right? So we go ahead and offset this. We are going to offset this vertical construction line at a distance of 8 millimeters to get the entire length of our opening. Alright, so go to modify ribbon, click on the offset command, then we type in the offset distance, which is 8 millimeters. Click on it, then we'll go straight to the line we want to offset. Click on the line. Yes, we're offsetting to the right, so you take your cursor to the right to give direction to CAD. Alright, so having done that, we can press escape to exit the command. So next up, we'll go ahead and delete this line since it has served its purpose. Click on it, then press delete on the keyboard to do that. So next up, we'll use our main layer. Go back to our main layer to draw in those tangent lines connecting the cycle and the point of intersection of those construction lines. So go to the layers ribbon, click on draw down of the layers ribbon, click on the 0 layer, which is our main layer, then straight back to our drawing ribbon, click the line tool, then back to our cycle, click on the tangent point here at the top of this smaller cycle, extend it back to this point of intersection, which is not locking because we don't have intersection turned on. So without exiting the command, I'll go down to the bottom right of the screen, click on object snap, on the drop down of the object snap tool, then select back intersection. Alright, I see. Then back to our drawing, lock it to this point of intersection, turn it to this point of intersection, then back to our cycle on the tangent point. That's it. So we've done that. So next up, we'll click on these construction lines. We don't need to get rid of them, then press delete on the keyboard. So next up, we can start off by trimming off some of these points because we don't need some of the part of this line, so we are going to trim them off. You can easily type in trim on the keyboard, or you can go to the modify ribbon, click on trim command, you type trim command, then you click enter to select every object in the model space, then you go straight to the lines you want to get rid of. We don't need this part of the line here, so I'll click on it. We don't need this, I'll click on it. So we don't need this as well. This we don't need it. Okay, don't need this as well, so sorry, Ctrl Z to redo this command. Now okay, this we don't need this. This part of the cycle we don't need it as well, so I'll click on it. We don't need this as well, we don't need this. Okay, press this Ctrl Z to enter the command. No, we don't need this and this. Alright, so don't need this part as well, don't need this. Okay, so as you can see, you still have some other lines that we don't need, but we could not trim them out because there is no point of intersection between those lines. So we'll just go straight to the lines, click on them to select it, click on the lines, this as well, then press delete on the keyboard to get rid of them. So that is what we want. So next up, we'll go back to our PDF document to get other dimensions. Okay, so that is it. So what do we do next? Okay, so we at this point we're going to start drawing in the curves. This 4.64 millimeters curve. All right, so we're going to start drawing in the curves. So let's do that. Back to CAD. Okay, you can see we don't need this part of drawing, so I'll click on them. We don't need this as well, so I'll click on this, press delete on the keyboard. So back to our PDF document. So here's these openings. We have other extension line to both ends of it that is having dimension 1 millimeters. So we are going to join those lines. Let's do that quickly. I almost forgot that. So go to the draw ribbon, click on the line tool, click the line tool, then lock your cursor, ensure the end point option is selected in the object snap tool, select them back up. Okay, so once it's selected, you go back to your drawing, lock it to the end point of these lines at a distance of at 90 degrees to the vertical, type in 1 millimeters. Do same for the other hand, lock your cursor to this point, type in 1 millimeters as well. Do same for this other opening. Alright, so this is going to be a problem. Okay, this is what we are going to do. So I'm going to click on this line, then extend it. I'm going to stretch it at, yes, I'll click on down, stretch at a distance of 1 millimeters. Press enter. Alright, oh, that didn't work. Alright, so I guess we'll have to, yes, in order to do that, we'll have to reduce some of the commands. So I'll press Ctrl Z on the keyboard to re-enter back some commands. Okay, going backwards, sorry for that. Going backwards, we need this. Alright, so okay, this is what I'm going to do. Let's go back, Ctrl Y to go back to where we were. Alright, Ctrl Y. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. We still need the construction line that is gave us the entire length of this drawing. So I'm going to try drawing back that yes, I'm going to draw it back in. So I'll go back to our construction layer, go to draw ribbon, click on the construction line, and then locate the tangent points on this. Yes, I will deselect some of these options. Select some of these options. What I need is tangents, so I'll deselect. Yes, alright, so I'll click on this tangent. Alright, so I'll click on this as well. So that's what I want. Then I will set this as usual at a distance of 8 millimeters. Type in 8 millimeters, press enter on the keyboard. Offset, click on the line I want to offset, which is this. Alright, so that's what we need. Press escape to exit the command. Click on the line you want to delete. So next up, we'll go straight ahead to the drawing. Click on the click line tool. Lock your cursor to this endpoint. It doesn't lock. Go back to the bottom right of the screen. Click on Object Snap Tool. Select endpoint. Then go back to drawing. Lock your cursor to this endpoint, the end point of this line. Right. Sorry, we're still on the construction line. We'll have to go back to our main layer. Go to the last one. Click on drop down menu of the mouse ribbon. Click on the 0 layer. This is our main layer. Go to the draw ribbon. Click line 2. Then lock your cursor to the endpoint of this line. With the line, your cursor resting on this construction line, you type in distance of yes, you type in at a distance of 1 millimeters. Press enter. That's what we need. You do same on the other end of this opening. Your cursor line on the construction line, type in distance 1 millimeters. Press enter. So that's what we need. So we've done that. So next up, we'll delete these construction lines because we don't need it. It will serve its purpose. Alright, so we'll go back to our PDF document now. So we want to draw in these curves. So how do we draw in these curves? Where my cursor is right now, this curve of 4.64 millimeters. Alright, so how do we draw these curves in? So how do we do that? Okay, so let's go back to CAD. So in order to draw in those curves, we are going to use a tool. Go to the draw ribbon. We are going to use a tool called the arc tool. Alright, the arc tool. Go to the draw ribbon. Click on the drop down menu of the arc tool where my cursor is right now. Click on the drop down menu of the arc tool. Oh, this mouse is kind of giving me headaches. Alright, sorry, I'm just talking to myself. Let me try to work on this mouse. Alright, okay, give me a sec. Let me try to work on the mouse. Alright, sorry for that. So I will go to the draw ribbon, then click on the drop down menu of the arc tool. All right, click on it, then we'll go straight to, yes, you go straight to the start end radius type of arc. All right, start end and radius type of arc, where my cursor is right now. Click on it. All right, once you've done that, where we need the arc is this and this, and the radius of this curve, let's get it from here, 4.64 millimeters. All right, so we'll click on the start and the end of this curve, then we can enter the radius. So this is the start and this is the end here, right here. I'll click on, which is this point here. I'll click on it. All right, so I'll click on it. So this is to, okay, this is not going as planned. We need the curve to be inwards, but from what is going on here is coming off outwards from the cycle. It needs to be inwards. So in order to do that, we are going to escape this and do it in the reverse direction. All right, so I'll click on the arc tool, use this as the start and use this point as the end. Now that's what we need right there. That is what we need. All right, so I'll type in the radius, which is 4.64 millimeters. Press enter. Exactly, that's what we need. We still need to get rid of these lines, so I'll click on these lines, click on them to delete them. Press delete on the keyboard. We are getting rid of this as well. Click on it, press delete on the keyboard. So we'll do same for these other openings as well. Go to the draw ribbon, click the arc tool. This will serve as our start, while this will serve as our end, just like that. Then we'll type in the radius, 4.64. Press enter on the keyboard. We'll do same for this end. Press space bar on the keyboard to re-enter the previous command. Then we'll use this point as the start of our arc, use this at the end. Now it's going inwards. This isn't going as planned, it's not going as planned. Alright, so what do we do? Let's escape and do it in the reverse direction. Go back to draw ribbon, click on the arc, use this as our start and use this as our end. Alright, click on this point as our end. Okay, what do we need here? Is this way or this direction? Okay, that's what we need, right? And then we'll type in the radius, 4.64 millimeters. So that is it. Well, that is it. That is that for this part of the drawing. So let's go back to CAD to do some comparison to see if we actually arrive at the same shape. Alright, so back to our PDF document. Okay, I believe we did same thing. We did a nice job there. So we'll go back to completing the other parts of the drawing. So how do we do that? To do this, we are going to, the next part of drawing we are going to be drawing in is this. Now this part of the drawing where my cursor is right now. So the problem here is, how do we locate the center of these cycles here? How do we get the center? Alright, so from this document, you see that is at a vertical distance from this cycle, this part of drawing that we just finished now. At a vertical distance, they are apart at a distance of 12.5 millimeters. Okay, and as you can see, this part of the drawing is also rubbing off on a tangent line coming off from this part of the drawing. So we are going to produce a tangent line here, then we'll offset from that tangent line. Okay, I hope you understand what I'm saying. So we are going to get a tangent line from this point, because this cycle is rubbing off on the tangent line. Okay, so we'll offset from that tangent line to the right at a distance of 7.5 millimeters. Alright, so let's do that. We'll offset from here at a distance of 12.5, offset to the right at a distance of 7.5. The point of intersection of these construction lines will serve as the center of this cycle we have right there. So let's do that. Back to CAD. Alright, so I'm going to zoom in. Alright, so I'll zoom in, then I'll pan a little so that you see this other part of the drawing. Okay, so yeah, so we are getting, go back to the construction layer. Alright, go to the layers ribbon, go to layers ribbon, click on the drop down menu of the layers ribbon. Alright, then click on construction line. Having done that, then you go to the construction line, click on construction line. Alright, then we'll produce a construction line right from this point, rubbing up from this point. Okay, that's what we need right there. Okay, so then we'll offset, we are going to offset this, yes, this construction line at a distance of, yes, we are offsetting this construction line at a distance of 7.5. so I'll go to offset, click on offset, type in the offset distance 7.5, press enter on the keyboard, click on the line we want to offset. We're offsetting to the right, click on the line to the right, then we'll offset this horizontal line, click on offset, type in the offset distance 12.5 millimeters. We offset this, yes, this construction line here at a distance of 12.5. click on the offset upwards this way. Now this point here, this point of intersection is the center of our cycle. Okay, so I'll go back to our main layer, click on the 0 layer, now type in cycle. Okay, having done that, I'll lock my cursor to this point of intersection, which is not happening. So go back to our object snap to select the intersection option. Go back to object snap to click on it, select endpoint, center and intersection. Okay, if you've done that, then you go back to drawing, lock your cursor to this point of intersection, click on it, type in the radius, which is 7.5, radius of the circle 7.5, press enter. Go back to our PDF document. What is the measurement of the smaller cycle? It's got 3 millimeters. We'll do same. Go back to CAD, to click on the spacebar to re-enter the previous command, lock your cursor to the center, type in the radius, which is 3 millimeters, click there. So that is it. So at this point, I'm going to turn off the construction lines. Okay, I'm going to turn off the construction line so that I will draw these curves touching this this part of drawing at this point, and also touching this at another point. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to turn off the construction line so that I'll be able to draw in that curve. So let's do that. Back to CAD. To turn off the construction line, I'll go to the layers ribbon, click on the draw down menu of the layers ribbon, now click on this light bulb symbol here beside the construct one layer to turn off the construction lines. Click on it. So that's it. So next up, in order to draw in that curve, we are going to use a type of cycle called a type of cycle. So we'll go to draw ribbon, click on draw down menu of cycle, then we'll click on tan radius. We'll click on a type of cycle called tan radius. Then click on this, okay, a tangent point on this part of the drawing. Come down to this side, click on the tangent point on this part of the drawing. Then we'll type in the radius, which is 50. From our PDF document, the radius is 50. So we'll type in the radius 50, then press enter. So that's what we need. So next up, we'll use the trim command to get rid of some part of this curve or the cycle. Alright, so I'll go to the modifier and click on trim command. Click enter to select object in the model space. Now click on the lines we don't need this. Okay, so I'll get rid of it. Now we zoom out to get rid of this. We don't need this here as well, so I'll click on it. So we don't need this one here, so I'll click on it. Okay, we don't need this part of the drawing as well, so I'll click on this too. So back to our PDF document. As you can see, there's an opening here and there is a curve here. Alright, and this measurement of this curve is 3 millimeters. Okay, so it's 3 millimeters. So we are going to put in that curve now. So how do we do that? Back to CAD. In order to put in that curve, we use a tool called the fillet tool. Alright, so we'll go to the modifier ribbon, click on the fillet tool. Yes, click on the fillet tool, click on it. click on the fillet tool. Alright, having done that, then we type in R for radius, then we type in the radius of the fillet we want to use, which is 3 millimeters. Type into the press enter on the keyboard, then we click on the edges of the curve of the supposed curve we want. Click here and click on this other end as well. Type in the spacebar, click on the spacebar to re-enter the previous command. Type R for radius, type in the fillet radius is 3 millimeters. Press enter, then click on this edge and click on this edge too. That is what we need right there. So next up, we'll go back to our PDF document. So looking at this, you see that we'll have another curve here of radius 42 millimeters, while we'll have a curve here as well of radius. Yes, we have a curve here of radius 10 millimeters. Okay, 10 millimeters. So in order to draw in that curve, first off, as you can see, this curve here is not touching this directly. Alright, it's lying off on this other curve. It's laying off from this other curve. So first off, we are going to draw in this curve here. So in order to do that, we have to yes, in order to put in this curve, we need to locate the center point of a circle that we used to produce the 10 millimeter radius curve. Alright, so let's go back to CAD. Alright, so I'm going to turn back on the construction lines because we need it to locate the center point. Alright, so here I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to zoom out. So if I'm to offset, sorry, I'll click on construction line for now. So if you are to offset, I'm going to offset this. Okay, the entire radius of this cycle is 7.5. This bigger cycle is 7.5. So 7.5 plus 7.5 plus 10 millimeters is going to give us 17.5 millimeters. Okay, so I'm going to offset this. I'm going to offset this construction line at 60 degrees. That's inclined at 60 degrees. I will set it. Sorry. To do that, if I offset it at a distance of 17.5 millimeters, whatever point it intercepts is going to serve as the center of that curve. Is that correct? Let's try that. I hope I'm doing the right thing here. So let's try that first. Alright, or better off, we can get, yes, we can get a tangent line. Let me zoom out so you get a clearer view of what you're trying to do here. Alright, so I think we should get, yes, we should get a tangent line here. Let's do that. Go to draw down menu of the draw ribbon, click on construction line, locate the tangent point here on this cycle. Sorry, go back to object snap at the bottom right, select some of these options. Okay, and back to our drawing, locate tangent point on these cycles here, locate on this other cycle here. Okay, so this tangent line, we are going to offset it at a distance of 17.5 millimeters. How do we get the 17.5 millimeters? Go to our PDF document. Now the radius of this curve here is 10 millimeters. Okay, and the radius of this entire cycle, this cycle will have a 7.5 millimeters. So in order to get the mating curves, in order to get a mating curve, we have to sum up this radius, which is 7.5 plus 10 to give us that gave us the 17.5 millimeters. So at whatever point, all right, back to CAD, whatever point this line intercepts with this construction line inclined at 60 degrees is going to serve as the center point of our curve. All right, so let's offset. Go to modify and click on offset. Sorry, go to modify and click on offset, then type in the offset distance 17.5 press enter on the keyboard, click on the line we want to offset, which is this. We're offsetting downwards, so I'll click on it to offset downwards, click on it. Alright, so that is it. I'll zoom in. Okay, so this point here where it touches the construction line inclined at 60 degrees is going to serve as the center point of that our curve. Alright, so I'll go to cycle, I'll go to cycle, click on draw diamond of the cycle tool, click on center and radius type of cycle tool. That will lock my cursor to this point. It's not locking, so we'll go back and turn on the intersection option. Click on intersection, back, then lock our cursor to this point of intersection. Yes, this one we lock it there. Still on the wrong layer, so we'll exit it, go back to our main layer, which is 0 layer. Then type, click on the cycle tool, lock your cursor to this point, type in the radius, which is 10 millimeters. Alright, so 10 millimeter radius. Radius. So you can see that okay, let's go back to CAD. 10 millimeter radius. That didn't go well. Okay, okay, let's try another means. Sorry, but that didn't go well, so let's try this. Let's try offsetting this at 17.5. Go to modify run, click on offset, type in the offset distance 17.5, press enter on the keyboard, click on the line. This is the line I want to offset, click on it, offset this at 17.5. Alright, okay, so yeah, so we'll go to cycle, click on cycle, lock your cursor to this point, type in the offset, the radius, which is 10, press enter on the keyboard. Okay, so that is it. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, let's try this first. Give me a second, let me try out this better option. Reduce 10, enter on the keyboard. Okay, okay, so this is what we are going to do. Instead of using this point of, I'm zooming out, so instead of using this point of intersection, we are going to be using this, right? This is going to serve as, yes, this will serve as the center of our curve, right? This point here is going to serve as the center of our curve. So you go to the cycle tool, click on the cycle tool, and lock your cursor to this point of intersection. Let's click, type in the radius, which is 10, press enter on the keyboard. Alright, so having done that, we'll go ahead and delete some of these construction lines. We'll delete, click on this, we don't need it, so I'll click on it, then press delete on the keyboard. So next up, we'll pan to centralize our drawing, pan a little bit, then back to our PDF document. Okay, before I do that, next up we want to draw in the curve of 42 millimeter radius, which is this curve right here where my cursor is right now. This curve, okay, of radius 42 millimeters, that's what we want to draw in. So we'll go back to CAD. In order to draw in that curve, we'll go to the draw ribbon, click on the drop diamond of the cycle tool. We'll use the cycle tool called the tan radius type of cycle tool. We'll click on it, then we'll locate the tangent point on this part of the drawing. Locate the tangent point on this part of the drawing as well. Then we'll type in the radius, which is 42 millimeters, press enter on the keyboard. So that's what we need. Alright, so we'll use the trim command to get rid of some part of the lines we don't need. So you go to modifier and click on trim, press enter on the keyboard to select object in the model space, then we'll click on the part of the lines we don't need. I'm going to zoom in, then pan, so that you see what is going on. Okay, then I'll pan as well. Pan. So we don't need this, we don't need this line as well, we don't need this line, we don't need this line, we don't need this, we don't need this line. Okay, I'm zooming out. Now pan. For some reasons this is kind of going crazy. I think you've been home for a very long time, so it's kind of going crazy. Alright, so I'll press escape to exit the command. Now go ahead and continue trimming. So what I will do, I will just press Ctrl Z to go back to wherever we coming from. Then I'll pan, I'll still pan. We need to see what is going on here. Alright, then let's press escape to exit the pan too. Then go to trim, click on trim, press enter on the keyboard. Now click on the lines we don't need. We don't need this, we don't need this line, we don't need this line, we don't need this. Okay, we don't need this, we don't need this line. Okay, we don't need this line, we don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this. So I'll still pan because we still have other lines here. That's okay. So yes, we don't need this. Okay, I'll press escape, clear this line, I'll delete it. Now zoom in, then pan, centralize our drawing, zoom out again, zoom out. Yes, okay, so I will delete this line as well, we don't need it. Press delete on the keyboard. So we'll continue with our trim command. Go to modify, click on trim, press enter on the keyboard, then click on the lines we don't need. We don't need this, we don't need this line here, we don't need this line here, this we don't need this here, we don't need this here. Okay, so we don't need this. Press escape, click on this line, click on this, click on this, as I press delete on the keyboard. So that's our drawing right there. Alright, so straight up we'll turn off the construction line so that we see what we've just succeeded in doing. So I'll click on this light bulb to turn off the construction line. So that's what we just drew in now. Alright, so next up, without further waste of our time, I'm going to zoom out. Then we'll start putting in zoom in a little bit. Then we'll start putting in the dimension lines. So I'll go to layers ribbon, click on draw dimension, click on go to dimension layer, then start dimensioning. Alright, so click on the parts you want to dimension. You know the drill already. Just put in the dimensions. This one is 7.5 radius. This. Okay, let's make some changes to our dimension lines. Click on the drop down of the annotation ribbon. Go to dimension style manager. Click on the modify tab. Okay, go to test. Change the test to 14. Go to symbols and arrows, changes to 7. Arrow size to 7. then go to fit, turn off this. We don't turn off this, then click OK, then click close. Alright, so click on this line to restart again. Go to dimension. Okay, let's turn off this and put in the dimension here. This is 7.5. This is for this 42. This curve is 42. This is 50. Now that is too big, so we have to change this. So I have to change this. Select them to make changes to this dimension. Then go to and go back to dimension style. Go to modify tab. Go to test. Let's change this to 7. Press enter. No, let's just leave it at 10. Press OK. Click OK, then click close. I think this is still too big, so let's take it down to 7. Alright, so let's take it down to 7. Click on modify. As you can see from the sound of my voice, you must have noticed I'm already very tired. Alright, so you type in 7, and let's try that again. Okay, I think that is okay. That is better. Alright, so we'll continue with our dimension. Click on dimension. Within this dimension, 7.5. This 6. Let's put in this curve. This 3. We should still reduce this dimension. Alright, so let's try reducing it again. Dimension style, modify, test tab, change it to 4. Press enter and click OK. Close. Better. This is better. Alright, so let's continue with our dimensioning. Click on this 10. This is 10. Okay, then this. Let's turn back on this. What's 7.5? Okay, this is what we should do. I'm going to copy this part of drawing so that we don't have a clumsy dimensioning. I'm going to copy this part, center. Now we'll move this part. Yes, click on this to specify this. Okay, escape key, delete this. So I will dimension this part separately. Dimension, within the radius here, 7.5. I'll zoom out so you see what I'm doing. To dimension this part here. Okay. Next up, what else? Now, is there anything you are leaving out here? Okay, zoom out, zoom out. Okay, yes, the dimension for these bad boys here, and this dimension for this right there. What else? Let's turn back on the object snap tool. Yes, okay, let's turn back on midpoint. Yeah, down to this point here. Millimeters. Yeah, onto this side. Escape. Let's do this dimension here. Okay, then let's zoom back in. Now, this dimension is kind of clumsy. Okay, so I'm going to delete some off. Alright, I'll still make some changes to our dimensions. Go to modify. Alright, so go to the arrows. Let's change that arrow to 4. Let's take it down to 4. Okay, okay, good, close. Okay, I think this is better off now. I'm going to delete this as well. So what are we missing here? There's nothing else. You ain't missing nothing anything here. Okay, let's put in this. Escape, that didn't go. I'll zoom out. I want to locate this point here. So go to dimension, click on dimension. Yes, this point. That is it. That's what I want. It. Okay, press escape. Now move this. Click on it, so drag it upwards. Okay, better there. Okay, so these are drawing. I told you it wasn't gonna be easy, but at the end we did it. Right, so you should be proud of yourself. You're still here. If you're still here, you followed to the end. Congratulations, this is your reward. Okay, so we did it. Alright, so we did it. So okay, I think we're still missing some of the dimensions. Okay, distance between these two parts of the drawing. So let's put that in from this point here down to the center. Center here, which is yes 55, which is 55. That's correct. $55. that's it. Okay, think we still need to dimension this part here. Oh, sorry, that was not what I intended to do. So this is it. Thanks for hanging around for this long. So this is your reward, joy of craftsmanship. I told you from the beginning it wasn't going to be easy, but at the end we did it. Alright, so want to know what your drawing is going to look like on paper. So go down to the bottom left of the screen, click on layout 1. Alright, so you click on layout 1, then we'll make adjustments to this border line here. Click on border line, adjust it to take the entire paper space. Adjust it, clicking on the edges here. Okay, centralize this. Okay, so that is it. So we'll turn off this grid, go back to paper space. We don't need this border line here. We can as well turn it off. Once, then you can go ahead and zoom out. If you don't like, you can use a zoom option called zoom ring time. Click on zoom ring time. I like using that. Click on zoom ring time, then left click on the mouse press, so then you drag to zoom out to whatever extent you want. Okay, then we can see pan here. Press escape to exit the zoom tool. In general, you can still pan to centralize your drawing. So that's what we want. So you did a nice job. You should be proud of yourself. So next up, we want to get rid of that blue border line. We don't need it. Alright, so I'll go to the layers ribbon, click on layers brush to create a new layer called border line. Alright, call this layer border line and press, then we'll close it. We shouldn't be concerned about the color of that layer because we are going to turn it off. So we'll take this border line. The current layer now is diamond 1, so I'm going to change the current layer to border line. Click on this border line. Okay, so having done that, so go back to our diamond 1 layer. Okay, Ctrl Z. Okay, you still want to change it to border line, the current layer to border line. Okay, so that's the layer now. So we'll go ahead and turn it off by clicking on this light bulb here. To border line, click on this light bulb here to turn off. Yes, so that's what we want. Okay, so so that's our drawing right there. It wasn't easy, I told you, but at the end we did it. So that's our drawing right there. So with this, we've come to the end of today's class. Thank you for hanging around. If you've made it this far, you should be proud of yourself. Congratulations, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, and stay safe.